for the NCAA tournament is only days away, but March Madness was underway on Saturday. Georgetown muscled its way past Seton Hall, and Providence flew over top-seeded Connecticut. Both seem set now for the big dance, but a win today makes it automatic. Now all eyes are on Madison Square Garden as the Big East tournament champion is crowned. What do you think? Is Madison Square Garden set for one more thriller? Yesterday, a couple of late-action buzzer beaters. Today, Providence and Georgetown for the Big East crown. Look at the track for Providence. The #4 seed coming in here. They beat Villanova. And yesterday, the #1 seed in the conference, the #2 team in the nation, UConn 2, and Georgetown over Boston College and then Seton Hall in overtime. Hi, everybody. I'm Jim Nansen. Welcome to this Big East final. Providence and Georgetown playing for the automatic berth from this conference, although both teams figure to be in the 64-team field, regardless of outcome today. The word up in Providence is they're going crazy over this team. The Friars for the first time ever in the Big East final. And yesterday they got here behind Rob Phelps, hitting 10 out of 11 from the field, 23 points, a career game for the senior from Brooklyn, New York. And for Georgetown and their victory, George Butler, 2 off a career high. His 24 helped lead Georgetown from behind. They were 12 down, in fact. They came back to beat Seton Hall in OT by 5. So Georgetown and Providence all set. And Georgetown's here for the 9th time, Billy. Again, Providence for the first. What does this game mean to the two programs?
Well, you know, Providence has a storied history, but not in the Big East. It's amazing to believe this is only the first time they ever made it to a final game. Of course, Georgetown has owned the Big East final. We talked about Rob Phelps. You know, Jim, some days the basket just seems to be like a sieve. Take a look at this. This is the only shot that he missed there yesterday. Take a look at the basket. That's how big it seemed to him, because everything he threw up went in, despite some great defense. Let's see if he can have that kind of day again today.
You really wonder if it can carry over. Let's bring in our colleague right under the basket right now, I believe. And here's Leslie Visser. Leslie?
Jim, I am. For Providence, it's been a busy couple of days for senior center Dickie Simpkins. He had to cover Danielle Marshall yesterday, OTHELLA Harrington today. He said he'll have to be much more physical with Harrington, but he is prepared to do that. For Georgetown, they had some unexpected motivation this week. Celtic legend Red Auerbach addressed the team. He told them to get the ball into the hands of the right player at the end of the game. He also told George Butler to shoot more, which we saw yesterday. So we'll see what happens when we come back with the starting lineups of the Big East Championship right after this.
Here are your starting lineups on Selection Sunday, Big East Final. Georgetown up front, Churchwell, Reed, and Harrington. And the backcourt, George Butler, so hot yesterday with 24. And the KG veteran, Joey Brown. John Thompson, he's 6-2 in Big East Finals. Again, the 9th time he's directed Georgetown to this championship game. And for Providence, up front, Michael Smith and Eric Williams with Dickie Simpkins, who really held down Danielle Marshall yesterday. In the backcourt, Michael Brown with Abdul Abdullah. And coach Rick Barnes in his 6th year. Providence, 19-9 overall. Georgetown, 18-10. Your officials, Tim Higgins, Jim Burr, and Ted Valentine, and they're ready for action. Georgetown won at home during the season, and Providence won last Monday at home in overtime against the Hoyas. So they split.
Simpkins goes from guarding Danielle Marshall to taking on OTHELLA Harrington. 2 tough days' work right there.
Smith got a hand on it to knock it out of bounds. We saw a very physical, bruising game in the nightcap yesterday, Seton Hall, Georgetown. Will it be anything like that today?
Oh, I think that's the way Georgetown's going to come out to play. One of the things they'll find, however, this is a veteran, senior-oriented ball club, which means that physically they ought to be able to withstand that pressure.
George Butler on the floater, and Georgetown on the board first.
Butler is a great slashing offensive player, isn't he, Jim? I mean, he can find those seams and use that upper body strength to get through.
Really smooth on the drive. Little flip, and scoring for Michael Smith.
Smith had a big game against Georgetown, 16-13. this year, you don't see him go that aggressively for his shot normally. He waits for the game to come to him.
Well, he didn't score in the first half of that game against UConn yesterday.
Exactly.
Now Harrington backing in, turning around, and the rebound Smith.
That's what we know he can do.
Three straight years he won the rebounding title in this league. First time ever.
That's right, when you think all the great centers been in the league.
Simpkins, and there he is. Smith underneath, puts it up and in.
He's a man possessed, Jim, in those 2 rebounds. REID is going to have to put a body on him. This is a great matchup, too. Abdullah and Brown.
Harrington, he lobbed it right over the top of that defense, and the game's tied at 4.
Of course, one of the great advantages Georgetown has with their pressure defense, but in Abdullah, you've got a guard that really negates a lot of pressure. Eric Williams did not have a big day here. Georgetown goes zone.
But Eric Williams had 32 points Monday night in that win against Georgetown. He's number 55.
Abdullah, not a shooter, does not look for the shot outside.
Churchwell on the rebound.
Smith helping out. REID not being guarded by Smith. Trying to double team, give a little help for Simpkins inside.
Joey Brown.
Nice hit ahead.
Simpkins.
What happened there, Jim, is OTHELLA, Harrington, and REID had their back turned. One of those things you never want to do in basketball, running down the court. Know where the ball and your man is.
And a hold on Michael Brown.
I like the call early. Taking away the hand checking. Trying to get this game to have a flow to it, unlike the game yesterday between Seton Hall and Georgetown. We had some tremendous officiating last Sunday in the Georgetown-Syracuse game. Allowed that game to have a flow.
3 men around him. Butler had it partially blocked. And now look at the scrappy Providence team. They flag Smith with the foul.
You know, Joey Brown is as tough as anybody I've seen play in college basketball in regard to the effort he gives. He plays almost 35 minutes a game. Now let's consider this, Jim, and we have to think about fatigue in this game. They played a game Sunday, a game Friday, a game Saturday, a game Monday, a game Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So they've got 5 games in less than 8 days. Triple team on Harrington.
Churchwell. He's had a hard time getting started in the first half of games here at the tournament. Smith up ahead and one.
Sensational pass by Abdullah. Only way he could thread it through was a bouncer. And what a catch by Smith in traffic. You'll see this young man who threw that incredible lob yesterday, and that one was right off the dribble. There's Smith watching the ball into those huge hands of his and follows up to the hoop.
Friars. Butler way out there, in and out.
Smith again. It's almost like he's got some kind of radar on balls that don't go in.
Got 4 rebounds in the first 3 minutes.
Look at how far back the zone is. Right now, they're playing a triangle and 2.
Simpkins driving. And Harrington with a forceful rebound.
Georgetown wanting to run.
REID kicks it back out. Joey Brown, 3-pointer. Only 27% from 3-point land on the season.
Doesn't even look to take many, Jim. 18 for 66 on the year. Yeah, this defense that we're seeing out here, Jim, is a matchup of sorts. And right now it has Providence somewhat thrown off as to what they want to run against. Looks, they look like they're setting up 2-on-2.
Eric Williams hits the turnaround jumper. He, too, was scoreless in the first half yesterday and came up big in the second half when Providence shot 70% to shoot down the #1 seed UConn.
He was 11 for 22 in that 32-point night last Monday.
The thing about Eric Williams in that game, he went to the line 18 times against the Hoyas. Churchwell driving and putting it up and one.
Let's think about that foul. Is that Michael Smith that got called for the block? Because that'd be his second one.
It is indeed the second. Now Rick Barnes, with 15 minutes to go in the first half, has to make a decision. And he's going to bring in Rob Phelps.
You see, remember Smith picked up the real cheap foul out front. He gets over, but not in time. Good call by the officials. Michael Smith's going to stay in the game with two quick ones. It's going to be Phelps for Brown, huh?
Yeah, at first Smith thought for sure he was the one coming out. He walked over to the bench.
Now, just as we saw yesterday, remember Donyell Marshall picked up two fouls and took away his tremendous shot blocking ability. He had to be much more careful.
3-point play by Churchwell, but Smith going to the bench, 7 points, 5 rebounds, 2 fouls. Friars by 1. Well, it certainly was upset Saturday in the college basketball land yesterday. 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, and 8 all out. And you wonder how that'll shake up the seeds. You'll find out tonight first on CBS 6:30. The live exclusive announcement of the pairings and seedings for the 64 teams right here on CBS tonight.
Jim, I think that was the greatest day of college basketball history because all over the country there were upsets and quality.
Wait a minute.
I think it was
day ever.
The greatest day ever in college basketball history.
You got to put into consideration a lot of teams already know they're going to be in the tournament.
They were quality games.
I think you have to question how hard a lot of people are trying. They're still red hot. He hit 10 out of 11 yesterday. 1 for 1 today. That one from three-point land. Greatest day ever.
Yep, greatest day ever in college basketball history. You had every part of the United States had quality basketball going on. Upsets everywhere. Good quality basketball games everywhere. You name another one. I'll make you reach.
Harrington comes in. Phelps hit with his first foul. I think, though, you have to take into consideration how much did it mean to an Arkansas? How much did it mean to a UConn?
I didn't see anybody laying down.
How much did it mean to a Missouri?
I didn't see anybody laying down.
Simpkins pulls down the board.
Boy, Abdullah can push that ball up court. Nice.
Simpkins, big step to the hole, and he draws the foul, I believe, on Harrington. Yes.
You know, everybody talked about Phelps yesterday, and obviously when you have a player hit 10 out of 11 in a game that was so closely contested, you've got to talk about an MVP there. But this man going to the line yesterday set the tempo of that game because Donyell Marshall, who is truly a fabulous college basketball player, Simpkins went outside, played him on the perimeter, contested every shot, really showed that he has great versatility as a defensive big man. And he wasn't bad from the foul line yet either, Jim. Made his first 8 yesterday.
He was hot. His real first name is Lou Barra. Lou Barra Simpkins. His father's name's Levert, and his mother's name's Barbara, and they named him Lou Barra. And he got to high school and said, you know what, I'm changing it to Dickie.
The trap. Bad place to pick up your dribble.
Phelps reached in, but he was on the line. So Georgetown basketball. Greatest day ever. I'm trying to pick myself off the floor.
I'm going to stand on it. You know, the number 1, 2, and 3 teams in the Pac-10 went down. The ACC, you know, the only team that played out of that top 8 that won was North Carolina. They won in an overtime game. Nice defense.
Simpkins came right in. He read it all the way. Providence trying to add to its 16-10 lead.
Well, don't get concerned if you're a Georgetown fan. This team has no wit in them.
Well, we saw that yesterday.
Exactly. Even in the Boston College game, it seemed that Georgetown probably wasn't getting the better of it. In the second half, they just blew them away.
Slapped that out of Eric Williams' arms. REID comes in, and John Jocks for the first time for Georgetown, number 4.
Zone again.
making its 9th championship game in the Big East. They're 6-2. Providence here for the first time ever.
Well, that's John Thompson, 6-2 in final games. How about this when you start thinking about it? Rick Barnes, Jim, is now 4-5 in Big East games total, and that matches the total of all Providence coaches. Out and running, great push-up.
Phelps on the wing. A rare miss this weekend, and they strip it away. Here comes Georgetown running. And Reid couldn't handle it.
How would you like to have a race with the ball between Brown and Abdullah to see which one can actually go from top of the key to the top of the key the fastest? Boy, those guys can move it.
They don't get the chance to do it all that often.
That's right. They can do it, though.
Smith back in. He has 2 personals.
A lot of time, 12:32. You know, if you're Rick Barnes, you certainly don't want him to cheap one now, and he's so active.
Simpkins. And he had his arm held outside, they say.
Well, Dickey just couldn't get up in the air to pass that ball down inside where he had Michael Smith wide open.
So first on Churchwell. Churchwell playing in his 126th straight game. He never missed a game. He's a senior. That's 126 straight starts. Most ever appearances in a Big East uniform.
Providence with the biggest rebound margin of anybody in the Big East. That's unusual. That's unusual.
Unusual in that he took a three-pointer. He doesn't shoot that often. I remember a stat line one time by Abdullah where he had, in one game, 10 assists, no turnovers, and no field goal attempts.
Exactly. Well, that was only his 42nd three of the year. He's 11 now for 42. Right at 26%.
He got called on the foul that time.
There's a 1-4 setup now. Brown on Abdullah. And he picked up the foul on him. 2 quick ones. Providence in some trouble here.
So the second one, Abdullah. And that was in the act of shooting.
Jim, one of the things that happens when you clear out for a Brown, Brown is so strong for a man his size. He can take inside and does a good job penetrating even among big people. You got to play him honest.
Joey Brown, another one of the members of that Louisiana connection that John Thompson has. Dwayne Spencer on this team from New Orleans, and there have been others through the years.
It has been amazing. The thing, you know, really out of the element. You know, John must have had a good time down there his first trip because he's gone to the well.
11:55 to go first half. Friars by 5.
The madness begins with the field of 64. Who's in, who's not? Find out on the NCAA Basketball Tournament Selection Show tonight on CBS.
Back at the Garden, Ralph Dalton, Patrick Ewing, Jim Nance, and Billy Packer.
Patrick spent some time in here. He was here at the games yesterday. Stayed last night to put on a little show, and a great victory for the Knicks. And back today to support a man that he has a great deal of love for, and a school that he has a great deal of love for, John Thompson, Mary Fenlon, and people that all helped Patrick mature as an individual to the great individual he is today.
Bounce pass by Phelps and rejected by Reid.
Might have been one pass too many there, but a great play by Donald Reid.
Phelps with that no-look pass.
What happened here, Jim, is that one pass too many allowed Reid to get in position. Terrific play.
Quick hands of Abdullah, and off the fingers of Smith. Eric Williams will come in for Michael Brown.
There's a case where Providence really should have come away with a basket. But good heads-up play by Reid. Here's that 1-4 setup again. Brown and Abdullah. Perfect timing. And you notice, Jim, how he gets right underneath the ball and goes up and picks it with 2 hands. Trapping now out of the zone. John Thompson giving them so many different looks. See, they played the two passive back in. Now they're trapping at him.
Abdullah driving. Harrington on the outlet to Brown. Phelps giving chase. Brown lays it up. Brown tipped once. John Jocks loses control. Now Providence has the numbers. You don't know. Smith almost lost control of it. Phelps, I'll take the three, he said. Got it.
That was some sequence. The guy that made the play was Phelps, who ran in front of Joey Brown and cut off his angle for the shot. Made it very difficult to lay that up softly.
And then hit the three at the other end. Phelps has made 2 threes in this half.
Picking up where he left off yesterday.
Providence on Monday night against the Hoyas did not make a single three. They were 0-9, and there's a turnover.
Joey Brown said his fault. He remembered where Millen was, not where he moved to.
Well, we got a sub in for the Friars. Austin Crozier has come in, the 6'9" freshman from Los Angeles. Michael Smith will get a breather. There's Crozier inbounding, 44, his first action.
Came in the game and opened up Connecticut's defense a little bit because he is a threat from the perimeter. And with his size out front, should be able to throw over the defense. But he looks like he's a little in awe of the day, doesn't he, Jim?
Look at this lob up for Simpkins. And he was pushed on the way up. That goes against Butler, his first. And they're not in the shooting situation, only 4 against the Hoyas. Thursday, the tournament gets underway. March Madness officially begins with the first tip at 12:15. Join us right here on CBS. All-day coverage Thursday, Friday, quadruple headers Saturday, and then Sunday at noon it all gets going. 48 games in 4 days starting on Thursday. Right here on CBS.
That's the man you want to trap. The freshman out front who's not used to it.
Abdullah wide open. Phelps, can he?
Got hit after the shot.
He'll shoot 3.
Nice piece of refereeing there.
John Jocks hit him out there beyond the arc, so a 3-point opportunity still for Rob Phelps from Brooklyn. His mother Rosa a little under the weather and unable to come here today. He wanted to pass along his best wishes for a speedy recovery.
One of his best friends, Abdul Fox, we saw outside on the street. Jim snuck him into the game, and he said, I want to watch my buddy play. They were friends in high school, and of course up at Rhode Island, where they had such a fine year last year. He's down here to root on one of his friends.
Hard to believe that he was 40% on the season coming in. Look at him this weekend, 12 of 13.
Well, that's when you look back over championship years, whenever you have somebody other than the favorite get there, it's always because somebody steps up beyond his norm. In the case of Providence so far, this is the young man who's done it.
Makes 1 of 3 at the line. 9-point Friar lead. That's their largest. Georgetown has gone 6 minutes without making a shot from the floor.
Letting Butler handle the ball a little bit so Joey Brown doesn't have to wear out.
Back to Butler.
Abdul almost picked up his third.
Harrington underneath. And Crozier gets it back the second time. Now the Friars can extend that to double digits.
A little bit over anxious on the play.
Crozier wide open. Wayne Spencer with the rebound.
Jim, what this lead allows Rick Barnes to do is to keep Michael Smith over there on the sidelines for some valuable minutes, but he doesn't have to pick up that third foul. He's getting him up off the ground now to put him in, however. Georgetown, that's Georgetown.
And that ends that streak without making a field goal that reached nearly 7 minutes.
And during that period of time, they were 5 for 17. Here we see the inside play. Butler going up without question. Ball on the way down.
Don Reed has returned. And Harrington will sit.
Georgetown shows a 1-3-1 look now. John Thompson's run about 4 different defenses so far in this half. It's interesting, I saw where Dean Smith, who won his 800th game yesterday, said he's never run as many different defenses at a guy to try to stop Randolph Childress as he did yesterday in the North Carolina Wake Forest game.
Williams in the lane.
Soft.
He has 4. Again, 32 against the Hoyas last Monday. Churchwell. No goaltending this time on Simpkins.
Nice timing.
Simpkins at the other end. Reid with position.
Now, if you're Georgetown, you got to get Butler untracked here, Jim. He's been awful quiet. He's got to be the man to come up with some points.
There he is.
That's a tough shot. And he
got a 4-point opportunity. Good call, Billy.
Well, I didn't mean that shot. Sometimes they come up lucky, but I didn't mean to take that shot. But they've got to get him in the offense. Great strength.
That's the second foul against Phelps.
You know, it's hard to believe that the year and the quality of Butler in terms of his offensive ability, we mentioned this yesterday, that he went 10 games where he shot 25%. He's just too good a scorer to have that happen to him. Sometimes your confidence gets down. But he's back now.
Phelps out, replaced by the starter, Michael Brown. So this for that rare 4-point play. Got it. So Butler cuts into that Providence lead. SWAT time and a 5-point Providence lead. Hoyas shooting 30%. Smith Providence has 7 points and 5 rebounds. Jim Nance, Billy Packer, Big East final. Providence here for the first time ever. What kind of seed do you think the winner will get out of this game?
Well, I'm going to answer your question in a second, Jim. I'm going to throw it back to you. But the thing that's interesting, a week ago today, we had Georgetown playing against Syracuse. Everybody's saying Georgetown on the bubble. They're probably not even going to get in. And they said Providence, if they don't get that game Monday night, they're on the bubble. Now here we are a week later. Both teams obviously going to get in. What do you think?
Boy, was he strong to keep going on with it. Reid hacked him on the way up, but Smith just slammed it home.
Let's think about something on that play. Smith has got 2 fouls, right? Don't try to block his shot. Try to draw a charge, but great ball handling and a nice job on the inside on the pass. And Smith with those hands is just so strong. Look, Donald Reid is a powerful player. Smith took him right to the basket.
Got the 3-point play, too. That's the second foul on Reid. The lead is 8 with just under 7 minutes to go first half.
That was really a good look by Eric Williams on the pass down inside, though he knew what the defense was, recognized the hole.
Butler
got hit on the arm.
Williams looking for it. Secures it.
Eric Williams playing a good, solid game today. As a scorer, was patient yesterday. Again, trying to see the defense. Man-to-man now. Pick and roll, nothing there. Good defense by Georgetown.
Beat the shot clock. Williams drives. And that's a violation.
Eric Williams cannot believe no call on that drive. Spencer did a pretty good job not chopping anybody. Get that thin, wiry body.
Harrington returns for the Hoyas, in for Spencer. He gets it in the low post. Some pump faking, got that basket.
Well, you can't be called for 3 seconds if you're making your move in the low post. Otherwise, if Harrington hadn't had that ball, he was in there for about 5. Tough pass right at Simpkins' ankles, and look at that double team.
Got him trapped, and he gets away from Harrington.
And scores?
They wave it off. They wave it off. They're going to call the foul on Harrington.
Jim, there's the difference between a senior who has faced Georgetown pressure before and what we saw yesterday in the ball game, in the fact that Simpkins has the strength and the power to bust through the double team. Here he goes again. Now, he gets fouled. I really thought he was in the motion. I thought the basket should have counted.
Well, they say before, so it's a 1-and-1 now in the bonus, and that's the second against Harrington.
Well, he's got beautiful rotation on that foul shot. And doesn't have a great percentage on the year, right at 70%, but with that looking shot, you'd think he'd be up in the 80s.
Gets them both. You think of those two guys inside, Simpkins and Smith, and they both come from that Georgetown area. Simpkins from Fort Washington, Maryland, and Smith, a D.C. kid.
Both in great shape academically to graduate on time. So they've done it all.
Butler set himself free. Butler has 10 of Georgetown's 21.
They were part of a recruiting class that was considered one of the nation's best 4 years ago. Kind of paying off now.
Harrington pulls it down.
Well, we've been dragging on Smith's hands. Harrington's aren't bad either.
Rest of the team, 20%. That's a much maligned class, senior class at Providence, too.
Oh, yeah.
Until now.
Well, you know what's interesting, Jim? They were 4th place this year, 4th place last year. That's the best back-to-back finish in Providence history in the Big East.
Butler again. Now he has more than half the total. 12 for Butler. Little assist from Jim Burr. Well, following this game, we'll have the road to the Final Four back in our studio with Pat and Raph, all the latest conference news, scores, and highlights. Plus, they'll talk live with Coach K from Duke, John Calipari from UMass, and the story of the return of a familiar face in the tournament, James Madison's lefty Drizel. Plus, a look at the women's bracket coming up at 5 Eastern time.
Lefty's had some good success at James Madison, but this is his first trip at that school to the NCAA tournament. That'll make the 3rd different team. He took Davidson to the NCAAs. He took Maryland, and of course now James Madison.
Last touch by Smith. Providence's starting guards have not scored, but Providence leads by 4. Pennzoil at the half coming up. We'll get into our halftime rotation with Pat and Raph.
Well, talking about rotations, Jim, a big man usually has a hard time. Look at the wide hands that we see on Simpkins, but watch this. I talked about how smooth his shot looks. This is absolutely perfect rotation for a shot, whether it be a jump or a foul shot, and obviously you can see where it went. He has really got the stroke going.
Georgetown trails 27-23.
Oh, and Providence showed a zone as if they were standing back in a 2-3. And as soon as Joey Brown got at the half court, they jumped to man-to-man.
Jocks, jumper, short. And Brown gets the rebound.
Providence, an excellent rebounding team. We've mentioned the stat of having the best rebound margin in the league. But every one of their guys do a good job blocking out and going to the ball.
I asked you earlier, where do you think the winner will get seeded? I think if Providence wins here, they're looking at about a 5-6 seed in the tournament.
Jimmy, you're the expert.
I don't know about that. Here's Smith.
What I'm anxious to see is how much did yesterday mean to the seedings and who gets in the tournament with all those upsets.
Butler and Smith give him a rebound there. Number 8. I think it's going to have less of an effect than you think.
Well, maybe because everybody lost that was up there.
It equalized it, neutralized it.
Again, good interior passing. Providence looking for that open man inside. Hard to weave those kind of passes through, but they're doing a good job with it.
You feel a little bit of a letdown today, coming back after the greatest day in the history of basketball?
Not at all, not at all.
I think hard to follow that up.
Well, I don't think we can match it, but one of the things that I think it gives us a nice looking lead into the NCAA tournament.
Now, 4 on the Simpkins. Let's see that rotation from there. In and out.
Phelps had perfect position, but it took one extra bounce on the rim. Reid had a putback.
Churchwell can't get the first half going this week.
Smith again with another rebound. Boy, he moves those feet so well to get under the ball.
Butler reached in outside. That'll send Simpkins to the line for a 1-and-1.
Jim, we're seeing a lot of solid fundamentals from the Providence players. That last pass, thrown on the bounce pass, kind of low, but what made it so good is Simpkins sat right down. Instead of standing tall, he was sitting down and was able to pick it up and then turn right on his defensive player.
And then back for the Friars, Austin Crozier for Michael Smith.
And the reason for that, with 1:59 to go, you got a 4-point lead and maybe be able to extend it. You don't want that third foul on Smith in the last minute and 59 seconds.
Here's a 1-and-1.
Smith has got 10 points, 9 rebounds. Almost a double-double in the first half. Didn't have any reason to push. The ball was going to go right over Harrington's head.
First on Crozier.
We'll see it, Jim. He's got everything made. Well, actually, probably the reason for it is he didn't see it coming. And there was the push with 3 referees. You're never going to get away with that.
Harrington will shoot a 1-and-1. Georgetown yesterday so efficient at the line against Seton Hall. They made 24 of 27.
Well, they shot well in the line in both games against Providence. 12 for 16 and 1, 16 and 19 to the other. And you know, we think back, the 2 teams that used to have foul shooting woes this year were the tops in the Big East.
Syracuse always, yeah.
And Georgetown. Funny, all those years they used to say to Boeheim, you don't know how to coach free throw shooters. Now, you know, now his team's #1. I don't hear anybody saying, what has Jim changed?
In for the first time for Georgetown is Yaya Dia from Senegal, and also Irvin Church, number 11.
Ooh, very close to the 3rd foul on Abdullah. Now we see that 2-3 zone, kind of standing back in there now, not trapping.
Crozier, Church reached in, knocked it out of bounds. This very similar to yesterday's form, where Seton Hall kind of led and threatened to maybe break it open a little bit. And Georgetown, next thing you know, you look up, they're down only 2.
Well, go back to the BC game. You know, you really felt that BC was the team that would come out in the second half, the way it was played, but didn't happen.
Under 10 on the shot clock. Phelps. Brown, right back up and in.
At 7 seconds on the clock, almost as good as a pass. You know, with a minute to go, I'm not so sure that Rick Barnes wouldn't be smart to get Abdullah out of there if he can. Because as important as Smith is on the boards, Abdullah is with the ball.
And Abdullah has the 2 fouls right now.
Brown and Butler.
Joey, jumper. And he'll reset. Got a new 35, of course. There's an 11-second difference here on the 2 clocks.
Joey Brown just beeline to the ball to get that rebound. Beat Rod Phelps. See Providence hanging back in there. He's satisfied to go in at worst 2 up.
Over the back, Kevin Millen. That'll put Providence on the line at the other end to shoot a 1-and-1.
John Thompson looks at Millen and said, you know, you're a smarter player than that. There was no chance whatsoever for him to grab that rebound. Let's see, here comes Abdullah out of the game, Jim. That's exactly what Rick Barnes was thinking.
They bring in Maciek Zielinski, 6'7" junior from Poland.
So Rick Barnes dodged the bullet there in that first half. He had his two critical players in somewhat foul trouble with 2 fouls early on both. Now they can sit down.
1-1 for Williams with 15 seconds to go first half. Sub in for the Friars. Simpkins will come in to shore up the defense on that last first half possession for the Hoyas.
Kind of interesting with Eric Williams. You know, he only had 11 starts this year coming into this game, and he ends up the #7 scorer in the Big East. And next year, you can expect him to be a guy who put a lot of points on the board. #1 scorer on this team. Their #2 scorer, Franklin Western, out for the 7th straight game with an ankle sprain. And I talked to him before the game, and Western is expected to come back for the NCAAs.
Well, he's had shoulder problems. Missed 4 games this year. This is his 5th. Shoulder problems and ankle problems.
Churchwell.
Oh, nice play. Good pass by Harrington.
Simpkins. And a good first half of basketball. That's the end of the first half with the score. Providence 31 and Georgetown 27. Pat O'Brien and Bill Raftery will be along with Pennzoil at the half after this word and a message from your local station. All right, we're getting set for the second half with Providence in front. Jim Nance, Billy Packer, and our colleague Dick Stockton. And Dick, we're actually the 2 guys that enabled during Packer's career give him the chance to do play-by-play.
Called creating a monster.
If you keep fooling around, I'm going to leave here and let you 2 guys try the second half without one of us.
He means it.
It's hard to follow up the day after the greatest day of the history of basketball. That's what he said earlier.
He didn't say that. No, I think it was the greatest day of college basketball this week. That's what I think.
We got to get you a talk radio show.
Yeah, okay. Believe me, it was. You guys haven't named another one. Yeah. Oh, there's silence. There's silence from 2 play-by-play announcers.
A whole
Silence.
assortment of NCAA weekends. Second round, upset days. Come on.
I think Michigan got hurt the most with those upsets yesterday.
All right, Dick, take it away.
Where's your alma mater going? Syracuse.
They're playing the next game. This is a consolation game, right, Jim?
Okay. All right, Dick.
Billy, how would you like to come back and work?
No, I think you're doing a good job. Go ahead.
I like you and Al. Where's Al now when we need him?
You'll be with him next week, I understand.
That's right.
He had a great day today with Glenn Robinson. There's one of the top teams that won. Of course, he didn't play yesterday, but Glenn Robinson, I understand, with 49 today. Sensational performer. And a big deal for Gene Katie's club, winning the Big Ten outright.
Does Purdue get a #1 seed?
I think they do now. I think with what happened yesterday, I think they do.
I think Michigan got hurt more than any other club.
Drop back to a 3, maybe?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, Williams with the 2 free throws for Providence. And almost a turnover, but Georgetown retains.
Jim, you look at this game, seems to be played very smoothly in the fact that both of these teams are just shooting 33%. You have a couple of guys that have come up offensively, and the rest of the teams are going to sleep, but it's a pretty nice game when you consider that bad a shooting percentage.
Harrington inside. He has 8 points.
And again, Georgetown not able to put any pressure whatsoever on Providence because this young man right here, #4, Abdullah, just eliminates pressure.
Brown tried to draw that 3rd foul. Simpkins fires it toward the cylinder, and he draws the foul.
That's the 2nd time today that Joey Brown has tried to draw the charge on Abdullah. Both times there was contact. Great no calls by the officials. They're establishing a real nice pace in this game.
That's a 3rd on REID. That'll send Simpkins to the line for a couple. Did you get to hear Billy with Al while we were over at the Olympics at all?
Entertaining. In fact, I heard them before I left and after I came back. It was a great show, and I like the fact that they wore sweaters. That was the big thing, I think. Do you like that, Bill?
You know, you guys are getting out of control here.
Oh, yeah.
But you'll still pick the player of the game, Bill, okay, even though I'm only here a short time.
Teams really match up well, both in size and personnel. So whether they're playing man-to-man or zone.
There's a double-double now for Smith, his 10th rebound. Ahead to Simpkins.
Nice drive. Michael Smith with that power rebound on the inside.
I asked him what makes him such a good rebounder. You kind of expect to hear that anticipation answer. Harrington in and out.
There he is again. He really didn't have the best of position to get that rebound and still fought his way in there.
I said, what makes you such a great rebounder? And he said, number one, it's desire.
I would agree. He wants the ball. Look at him right here. He did not have the best of positions and then shows you that strength.
Butler rejected by Smith.
We're talking about a guy who dodged bullets in the first half by not picking up that third foul. Makes him be able to stay aggressive in the second half. Took Butler.
Dick Stockton, thank you for joining us. We'll look forward to hearing you in the tournament.
Likewise, guys.
John Thompson's been hit with a technical. We'll be right back. Well, Georgetown called a timeout. Billy, as we headed the break, Thompson got slapped with a tee. What happened?
Well, watch. We've got one player, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And what is this right here? There's John Thompson inside the three-point lane, and he got a tee. He's out of there.
I'd say it's a little out of the coach's box.
Well, he was inside the lines, and the only problem was inside the three-point line. He was almost in the lane where he
almost saw one of those rare 3-second calls.
Of course, he was very effective in the lane when he was at Providence. Led them to NIT championship in Madison Square Garden in college.
Michael Brown buries a couple. In fact, Thompson is still number 3 on the all-time rebounding list at Providence. Right behind him is Michael Smith, who will inbound. Providence has equaled its largest lead, 38-29, 9-point edge.
A lot of times players respond from a coach's technical, realizing that he stuck up for them over the years. Let's go out and put an extra effort in here.
Now tipped by Smith.
Oh, okay, get it back. Jimmy, how about that? He actually was off balance going in the opposite direction, and when he hit the floor, he bounded right back to the right.
He gets 2 rebounds on this effort.
Watch his footwork here. He goes up. Now, see, he's going to the... And as soon as he realized that ball's going to be on the other side, as soon as his foot got planted, he bounced right back to the right. Desire and some speed, quickness, strong hand.
He said, desire number 1, and number 2, you put it in your mind that no one can stop you. Reid underneath. We saw those scores a minute ago. Cal Irvine shaking up some trouble out there in the Big West, huh?
Let me throw one at you. In the RPI index, they're 270. They would be the lowest ranked team in the tournament if they continue to play well.
Eric Williams will shoot a couple. They lead, by the way, Irvine over New Mexico State by 4 in the first half.
Well, you thought for a while maybe Raleigh Massimino may sneak in there, and a tremendous comeback in the second half by New Mexico State on the Vegas home court. Something you don't see often in postseason tournaments anymore, where the home court advantage is in play.
Churchwell out with 3 fouls. Still call this St. John's home court, though, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't think of that, though, do you, right off the bat?
You really don't. I mean, they play on 2 different courts, whereas in the case of UNLV, that's Thomas and Mack, their only home court. Simpkins played behind Harrington and then realized he had a better angle and jumping over on front.
Jocks, 3-pointer. Good shot. John Jocks.
They were looking for that 2-man game, high-low post. Pass into Simpkins and then a drop down to Williams, but Georgetown did a good job defensing it. Smith push underneath. But it shouldn't be shooting. He actually passed the ball. Let's see what happens. I don't think he should be on that line.
That was on Harrington, and that's number 4 on OTHELLA. Harrington.
Huge play.
16:38 remaining in this game.
And Jim, now watch it. Abdullah's going to drive. You know he's not going to shoot the ball. Harrington should have played for the pass as opposed to anticipating that Abdullah was going to put the ball up. Put him in a bad position, and a huge problem now for Georgetown. 16:37 to go. Their ace scorer has been the inside man in this tournament so far on the bench. He's going to have to stay there a while.
They've already committed 5 fouls in this half. Providence hasn't had one. Abdullah. Looked like he thought about passing it right in mid-shot.
Afterthought.
His first 2. Joey Brown going the other way.
And there's the case where Joey Brown tried to draw charges on Abdullah twice. They weren't called. That time, Joey couldn't pull back. Abdullah stays right with him and moves his feet at position. You don't have to give up any time or distance for a man that's dribbling the ball. If you beat him to the spot, it's yours. Spreading things out with the lead now. Trying to get Georgetown to commit defensively and then hit the middle and dump down inside.
Williams. And that is and another technical call.
What's happening right here? The experience of Providence is starting to wear on Georgetown mentally a little bit. Eric Williams held his cool. Georgetown players did not. John just stands and stares, kind of like the John Chaney impersonation of a few years ago.
Personal was on Don Reed, the technical on Joey Brown.
So we've got 2 and 1 more.
They announced here the technical was not on Reed. They said it was on Joey Brown.
And the ball back. Jim, this is a chance to really expand this lead. Now you've got the technical, and then the ball back.
To take Reed out, and they bring in Yaya Dia. So and possession, they could walk out here with a 15-point edge.
Exactly.
Or not edge, but a bulge. Reed has 4 fouls, 4 on Harrington.
They had the dead ball situation on that technical, so now an opportunity to really build up this lead. The crowd gets into it. You have to believe that a lot of these people are rooting for the underdog, Providence. Really spreading things out. They're getting a lot of spacing in their offense now to try to be able to hit inside and dump down.
Outside, Simpkins. Georgetown ball.
What Georgetown is not doing, though, they're not fighting for the bait right here by going out and just attacking, because they realize how adept Providence is at hitting and getting good passing inside. Williams on the chop. What Georgetown has to do right now is regain their composure. Joey Brown doing a good job talking to everybody. You have a tendency to little extra chattering in there by the Georgetown players. They got to get their mindset back on what the job is at hand. John very calm.
Georgetown has shot 6 free throws in this game, 26 by Providence. 20 more attempts, make it 19 more attempts.
Well, you know, in the win over Georgetown, Providence shot 29 of 44 fouls, Jim. Georgetown only 12 of 16, so there was a huge difference in that ball game.
And that was again the one where Williams went to the line 18 times. There he is.
I mean, 44 fouls to 16. That almost seems like a unbelievable.
Williams has to go out. He has a little cut on his right forearm. Selection Sunday right here on CBS tonight. 6:30, live exclusive first announcement of the pairings, the seedings, the brackets for this year's March Madness. We begin the road to Charlotte. What a host city that will be, too.
Jimmy, you talk about these postseason tournaments and what do they mean? It's kind of interesting. The guy with the best postseason record, coaching-wise, is Pete Gillen. He went in this year 15-2. John Thompson ranks 4th on that list at 25-7. You got Speedy Morris in between him, along with Ben Jobe down in Southern. And all 3 of those guys out of the tournament, at least through the postseason tournament. So John, the last one of the group with a chance to work his way in.
Simpkins.
Tough shot. Abdullah can find the open man, can he?
They got their largest lead now. 14-point lead. 14:40 to go.
John with some good instructions. He doesn't want to try to get it all back at once. Strip on the jump shot. Big basket there, Jeff.
6'8" freshman from Senegal.
With Harrington on the bench, he had to go out at the 16-minute mark. Michael Smith may want to take the inexperienced player. Oh, and another job. 2 big plays by Doc.
It's only the 5th turnover by Providence today. Jocks, he hit one earlier, not this time. Providence had 7 turnovers yesterday, only 5 today, and there's Smith at the other end. What a pass.
How about that lead pass? Had to be absolutely perfect. He threw that about 75 feet. And how about Michael Smith taking off on the break?
Butler way off on the 3.
Now Georgetown panicking a little bit here, trying to get it back too quick. Watch this pass. I said 75 feet. Michael Smith moving. Actually, his timing was so incredible on that. If he jumps a little too soon, can't handle it.
How about the passes he's made in this tournament?
Oh, yeah.
Yesterday, you said the best one you'd seen all year. He had a bounce pass that resulted in a bucket here in the first half, and then that one there.
Off the dribble, perfect. Well, he's got the best turnover assist ratio in the Big East.
Number 1 in the Big East in assists.
That's right.
Top 10 in the nation, in fact. 6th overall, that is. There's Church in for Georgetown. Jocks out. I like this combination of players that Providence has. I mean, for the NCAAs, looking ahead.
Without question.
With those 3 guys inside, Simpkins, Williams, Smith.
Well, how often we've seen senior leadership be a factor in the NCAA tournament.
Butler. Talking a little bit to Brown, isn't he? Gives him 16.
And this team comes in, Jim, with 7 straight wins. The last team to beat this club is Connecticut. Look at that move.
Blocked by Butler.
Well, he got an arm. He knows it. That was some dribbling move by Williams. Now Rick Barnes starting to rest Simpkins and Smith. Even if so briefly, let's get him off the floor. Abdullah, 7 assists today, 1 turnover.
Gotta love that ratio.
Oh, boy.
Like you were talking about.
Well, he's almost at 2.5 to 1. On a team and in a league that presses their guards a lot, and he's on a team where he's got the ball in his hands all the time.
Eric Williams is 9 for 9 from the line. Grew up in Newark, New Jersey. Went through a couple of junior colleges, first Burlington, and then Vincennes out in Indiana. And I asked him, how did you decide on going to Providence? He said, my mother made the decision. All along, I told her she gets to make the call. She said, Providence.
Well, for Providence's sake, it was a good one because he is exactly what they needed, particularly with Franklin Lester now. It's Smith again. He stays in the ground to the last minute, gets underneath the ball, and then just takes off.
Dangerous pass that time, and it's off the Providence player. Off of Abdullah.
Well,
this time he even had the fight against his
Yeah, watch.
teammate there.
He moves. He gets right on the ball, and in the last minute, he goes straight up from underneath it. No reaching whatsoever.
13 rebounds in this game. Harrington's back in for Georgetown. Oh, they've got a technical foul called against Abdullah.
Now, that will also count as a personal, so that'll be his third.
May have happened over there when
Joey
chasing a
Brown.
loose ball. He got tangled with Joey Brown.
Joey Brown, and really Michael Smith put Abdullah at a disadvantage when he handed the ball back to him, and then Joey Brown was kind of straddling him. Abdullah reacted. Not a wise play.
Georgetown down 11 with the ball. Remember, they were down 12 yesterday at this point.
Here we'll see
Seton Hall.
the situation. Here's what we're talking about. Now watch this. Joey Brown gets over him and straddles him. Abdullah tries to get up. Brown gives him a little conversation. Abdullah stays right with him, and then it was right after this that the technical was called.
Three-pointer, big shot.
Nice following of the shot by Butler.
Brown underneath. Smooth. Joey Brown working the baseline.
You smell a comeback?
Yes, indeed. They've already cut it to 9. They were down 14.
Butler really aggressive inside on Williams. Williams got about 3 inches on him.
Reach in, Butler. His 4th. So now Georgetown.
Oh, another technical foul. Now let's see who this on. These technicals are counted as personals.
That is the 4th technical in this half.
We had 1 on Coach Thompson, that man right there, and then 3 on players. See those?
That's against Butler, and that will foul him out.
Exactly, Jim. See, a technical also counts as a personal. So he commits the foul, which is his 4th, then gets a technical foul, and it also counts against him in a dead ball situation as his 5th. So Georgetown now has Othello Harrington on the bench with 4, and Butler, their top scorer, out with 5. There it is. He just lost his cool. It's an unfortunate situation. Kids played hard throughout this tournament. The backs are to the wall now as Georgetown. We'll see 2 shots for the personal, 2 shots for the technical, and the ball out of bounds. The second time that Providence has had this situation in this half.
Churchwell will replace Butler.
And John Thompson has a little bit of a smile on his face, and that's when he's starting to get hot.
So Williams, that's his first miss after 10 straight. Butler, that's a big loss.
It really is. When John gets quiet, that's when he is most disturbed.
Well, unable to take advantage of those 2.
I think these are real important for Providence to make, Jim, because the momentum then would swing back to Georgetown in terms of they dodged one.
Well, they put Brown on the line for their technicals, and this is for 6 for 6.
77% free throw shooter. You know, Jim, at one time in college basketball, 1 man shot all the free throws. You had your designated free throw shooter. That changed the game around a little bit, wouldn't it?
Changed the way you recruit, too, wouldn't it?
I guarantee you. Kids should be kids every day. Just all they do is work on free throw shooting. Maybe they should anyway. Backdoor cut. Brown got lucky.
Save a scholarship, though, for one kid who can just
all
fill
it up.
15
Exactly.
feet.
He had to adjust the shot a little bit. Church had a hand in his face.
Now Butler's fouled out. Harrington and Reed for the Hoyas each have 4.
Harrington back in there with 4 fouls.
And a good move. Good move.
Now, this is a nice move by John Thompson, too. He said, hey, wait a second. I'm down 11 points at the time. No sense saving him. I can't afford to go any further back. Kind of allows Providence to play a slower tempo half-court game and pick their shots. Obviously, much too early to go into any kind of delay. With a 35-second shot clock, you got to get it up, but they're being very patient, maybe too patient.
Simpkins way outside, and that's going to be a call against Williams. Eric Williams committing his 2nd. And that's only the 3rd against Providence in this half.
Back in Madison Square Garden, where both these teams could be cited for technical merit. Well, in a couple of hours, all the questions will be answered. Will the Big Ten get 7? Will the ACC get 6? Commissioner Mike Tranghese, how many teams from the Big East deserve to go to the NCAA tournament?
Well, I think Georgetown's played their way in, Les. I think we have 5, but, you know, I'm going to push for my teams. I think Seton Hall and Villanova deserve consideration.
Do you think Connecticut still deserves to be a #1 seed?
I'll leave that up to committee. Whether they're 1 or 2, they're a terrific team, and I think they'll do very well.
What about all the upsets? Do you think it diminishes the importance of the conference tournaments?
Not if you talk to the kids. I think that's media talk.
Thank you, Mike. Best of luck. Jim?
Harrington to the line for 2. But that line from Leslie about technical merit.
She probably got that from Dick. Is that an ice skating term?
It's an Olympic line, yeah.
I see.
How about artistic impression? Would you give good marks for that?
Well, I watched Saturday Night Live last night. I thought Nancy Kerrigan was great, but Mr. Basketball there was even better. What's that fellow's name that does the basketball?
Chris Farley?
Chris Farley, he was tremendous. I mean, the guy can really ice skate.
I couldn't believe he was great on skates. Almost Olympic quality. Yaya Dia comes back for Georgetown.
John gets it down to 8, figures he wants to save Harrington if he can. Make his little push on defense. With Butler out, he needs that score back in here, but he'll go a couple of minutes without him. You see how patient Providence has become, Jim, but you know, sometimes when you turn it off, it's hard to get it back on again. If Georgetown can make a run here, Providence have to shift back into their half-court game the way they were playing. It could be trouble. Second time.
They have scored only 10 of their 26 in this half from the field. 16 free throws in this half made by the Friars. Now Irvin Church.
It looks like he knows what he wants to do with that ball in there. And they're going to him. Making himself available.
Joey Brown slicing through. Spencer. They call push on Eric Williams.
They are calling it tight, Jim, not wanting anything to get away from it. Williams can't believe it. He thought he was going for the ball.
That's his 4th. He's the first one from Providence's side to get into foul trouble.
Now here's where Franklin Weston would be very important to this club. To make them deeper in that position where they could bring a scorer back into the wing spot.
Butler already out. 2 other Hoyas saddled with 4, and Williams now with 4. That was only the 15th foul against Providence, so a non-shooting situation. No 1-and-1.
Well, Phelps ends up playing the swingman position on Churchwell.
Spencer from the line.
That did touch iron.
Church. Good hustle there to save it for the Hoyas. Which has moved ahead of Carolina in the second half.
2 outstanding freshmen for Virginia yesterday. Robinson and Harold Dean doing the job. It's hard to believe in a tournament that freshmen could take over.
Harrington's fouled out of the game with
And there's a smart play by Simpkins. The senior held his ground. Watching back in. Now watch Nicky Simpkins right here. We talked about the great defensive play he had yesterday. Look at him. He holds his ground and goes down. Perfect defensive positioning. He was outstanding yesterday on Danielle Marshall. Comes through today. Then this Providence club went over. It doesn't show on their record. They went over to Europe at Christmas time to challenge 3 of the best European professional teams. They did not win. 3 teams in a tournament. They were the 4th. They played 2 games over there. They did not win. But one of the things that Rick Barnes tells me, it was an incredible experience because of the physical nature of European basketball against more mature players. They've come back now, and I think, particularly in the case of Simpkins, he gained a great deal of experience on that trip.
That was Paris over Christmas.
Right.
Well, they just barely got that ball across in time. Phelps over to Simpkins.
Nice patience. Team's playing very smart basketball right now.
Bounce pass by Abdul. Simpkins scores.
Double pump.
Unbelievable assist, Bill.
Yes, it really was. Again, off the dribble. He sees the court so well. We talk about Jason Kidd being a great passer in college basketball. He has that same talent.
Butler, not Butler, Brown, and a rebound by Smith.
Look out.
There's Brown at the other end. Michael Brown. Here comes Joey. And Michael Brown a little too close.
Jim, here he is. Look at the court. Boom. Perfect pass. Threads the needle. Then Simpkins double pumps it as he comes across. You know, on that ball that he throws off the dribble like that, whether he throws the bounce pass or just the one-hander to a man on the wing, it's so easy to catch the way he throws it. Comes up perfectly off the ground.
Has to receive strong all-tournament consideration.
Without question. And he sets the stage for everything they do in the half court.
Georgetown trails by 12. They've lost 2 starters to fouls, Butler and Harrington. I wish you could have seen the ovation that Patrick Ewing gave Harrington after he fouled out. Ja underneath. Very nice move. Didn't quite drop. Spins her right back. Gets it.
John Thompson getting really solid play out of Yaya and Spencer. Here's a 1-3-1 trap now. Didn't win 6 of these championships without not knowing what he's doing. Nice.
There's a pass. Brown over to Smith. And Spencer.
Again, one of the things that's so interesting about the big players from Providence is how they sit down on those bounce passes so they don't hit them down around the ankles. They sit right down there and make the catch.
Make that last foul call against Job. It'll send Smith to the line. 13 points, 14 rebounds. He actually had 26 boards in a game against Syracuse this year, the all-time league record, shattering Danny Shea's mark of 23 in a game.
He still didn't touch Marvin Barnes' all-time record at Providence, who's their all-time leading rebounder. Of course, before the days of the Big East.
Timeout on the floor. 12-point lead. CBS Sports coverage will continue after this message and a word from your local station. We're at the Garden. Final 7.5 minutes to go. The Big East Championship game. Providence looking for its first ever Big East title. In fact, the last time Providence College was in a postseason final was 1978, the ECAC New England Championship, and they lost that one to Rhode Island. Jocks. Ja giving him some good match off the bench. What a move with the left hand.
Better believe it, Jim. He has done it on both ends of the floor. seeing the clock becoming a factor here. Providence has been able to play this slower tempo, and since Georgetown has not made a run on them, they've been able to stick right with it. Trying to pick them apart here. Well, that was a quick pass. Down to 3 seconds on the shot clock, though. You know, Providence not quite as effective without Williams, and here he comes back into the game. He is really trouble in the middle because he can score.
Spencer back in for Georgetown. Reid out. 3 seconds, as Billy said, on the shot clock. Providence only 7 turnovers yesterday and 6 today.
Let's see the shot that they're trying to set up. There it was for Williams. They brought him in specifically for it. They hit the rim.
Look at Joey Brown way up there for the rebound. It's Spencer slicing into the hole.
That's his fifth. That's Williams' fifth foul. Could have gone either way. He comes into the game for a specific purpose, which was to take that shot, from that jump shot, with 3 seconds to go. And unfortunately for Rick Barnes, he tries to draw the charge. And now he's gone. He won't be able to use him again. So both teams without valuable players here. Butler out. And there he is. I thought he had position.
So Eric Williams fouls out. I was excited about playing in the NCAA tournament. He told me March Madness was something I always wanted to go to. I watched it for years and said I want to be there one day. We'll find out later tonight where Providence is going in the NCAA field.
Well, Jimmy, remember Rick Barnes started out his career at Providence. First year, he started 13-0. They went to the NCAA tournament his first 2 years, knocked out in the first round. I'm sure he thinks this club can go a little further than that.
Back to Georgetown.
Over the back of Simpkins, gets away with it. Georgetown's going to keep coming after him.
Spencer. Down to 7. That's 5 unanswered out of the break for Georgetown.
Spencer and Yaya doing the job, Jim. Since they have come inside. Spencer had a big game against Boston College. Had 8 points in 15 minutes. So he's had a very solid tournament off the bench.
Phelps gives it up. Simpkins. At the other end.
Well, it's consistent both ways.
That's on Spencer. And his first. Near the conclusion of this game, Billy and I will be selecting a Chevrolet player of the game from each team. Chevrolet, as always, donating a $1,000 scholarship to the General Scholarship Fund of both schools. And boy, number 33 in that Georgetown uniform. There he is.
We talked about Smith and his rebounding and who he follows, and Derek Coleman, of course, the leading rebounder ever in the Big East, followed by Patrick Ewing, but they both played 4 years. Michael Smith, as number 3 man, has only played 3. Big break for Providence.
He can only take the 3 years he competed, and he won the league title all 3.
That's right.
He said, had I had a 4th, I think I probably would have won that too. And I can't dispute that.
Right, sat out his first year as a top 48. They're really using this clock a lot.
That's got to be offensive. Yep.
There's a case when you go to the delay game and you get it down to the final seconds of the shot clock, you've got to put the ball in the hands of a primary ball handler or shooter. Now, Simpkins has been outstanding defensively and offensively, but he's not going to be able to drive from 20-some feet away. Not against a club like Georgetown that loves to draw the charges.
And how about little Joey Brown standing in there for it, too? Oh, on the back line, it's a turnover committed by Georgetown's jocks.
Yep, he just didn't realize where he was. Can't afford turnovers now. Georgetown's got to get a good look at a shot off every time down the floor.
Yeah.
I see Providence losing a little concentration. concentration. A lot of time, Jim, has gone by where they've had a nice working margin lead and haven't been able to extend it.
Lead is 8 with 5 minutes remaining, 5 and change.
How about the fact Georgetown looking to go inside with Harrington out of the ballgame?
Push from behind on Simpkins.
The double low post has been effective for John Thompson.
I think Barnes senses some complacency here. A little swing in momentum, and they've called a timeout. 62-54, Providence looking for its first ever Big East crown.
See if you can get it, Ed.
Billy, watch the concentration in the Hoya huddle. John Thompson brings his team to a timeout. Everybody, and I'm talking not just the players on the floor, paying attention.
You better believe it. Great concentration there. And Jim, you made a good point why Rick Barnes called that last time out. He felt with 5 minutes to go, his team was losing some concentration. And one of the reasons that Georgetown has made this tremendous comeback is this young man right here, Dwayne Spencer.
Spencer shooting a 1-and-1.
Providence with 1 field goal in the last 5 minutes. Now they are playing a little bit delay game.
And Smith with the rebound. His 15th.
They've done now, they're getting out of the delay. See, they went back to their aggressive half court, feeling the delay was taking away something from their attitude.
Simpkins, no goaltending call, and Providence maintains.
That was Daya who blocked that one. Hey, he and Spencer have really done a job. Almost a great save. Georgetown aggressive. Instead of going into delay half court, Providence back to running their offense.
4:30 remaining. 8-point lead.
Joey Brown kicks the ball and
gives him a new shot clock. Gives him a new 35.
Boy, quite a battle. That Florida team was, and there's Cal Irvine again. What did I say, 270th? They are on the RPI index.
And they win that game, they're in the tournament.
That's right. Well, that's one thing about this week. You know, you had 300 schools had a chance to earn their way there. Forget about who picks what in the tournament.
Smith turnaround, and Ja has the rebound.
He started the day with a half hook like that.
Made it.
Yep. Ryan doing a great job in there in the minutes he's played.
Smith denies, back to Brown.
He wants the ball back again.
Spencer. Ja again chasing after it.
Terrific job by the young man.
Big possession for Georgetown. Down 8 with 3:40 remaining. Joey Brown, look at that fight. Oh,
tough break for Joey Brown. That
really
ball was in and out, yeah. Boy, he is a great competitor. Has he been out of the game today, Jim? I don't think so, Joey Brown.
He just played the whole way.
Oh, there was the backdoor cut.
Simpkins finds Phelps. Phelps missing off of Georgetown.
Another 35. Joey Brown, one of the all-time great competitors in this league or any other, puts it up. How did that not go in? That was in and started to go down. Defy the law of gravity there.
Georgetown takes timeout. That leaves the Hoyas with only 1. About 3 minutes remaining, and it's still 62-54. With 3 minutes to go, and the Friars up by 8. The arrow belongs to Georgetown. Hoyas with 1 timeout.
Jim, we talked about this with Providence's first chance to win a championship in a Big East tournament. We talked about John Thompson winning the 6 of them, but he won 6 in a row. There's a push out of bounds. You know, the first 6 he was in, he won them all. Lost his last 2.
Oh, the first 6 Big East finals.
Yeah, first 6 Big East finals.
Including the first one back in 1980.
1980.
That's the 4th on Churchwell. Billy, 12 o'clock Thursday. Where are you going to be? March Madness gets underway.
Wherever they put me.
Nassau Coliseum. Who's headed there? #1 seed in the East.
Yeah, I don't know after yesterday. I'm going to still
UConn or Carolina.
I'm going to say UConn. I'll stick with the pick even after the day. Things start getting tight on those benches right now, and you can see Providence, even with a nice working margin here, still saying, can it really be true? They could be the Big East champs.
They have outscored the Hoyas, Billy, by 19 at the line.
Officials in this game have refereed almost like it's a different sport than the Seton Hall Georgetown game of yesterday. This had a major effect on how the game was played as well.
That's the third on Michael Brown. And they're in the double bonus now the rest of the way. 2 for Joey Brown. 15 and 15 for Michael Smith.
And obviously all of these free throws critical. If Georgetown's going to make a late run, they're going to have to turn over it on defense a little bit and cannot afford to miss any shots when the clock is stopped.
Look at the disparity in free throws. Attempted and made. 18, 17 more made by the Friars after the 2 by Brown. Here's Lamont Morgan in, the 6'3" senior from Washington, D.C., number 34 for the Hoyas.
John Thompson pressing all over the floor, but again, negating the press. This man right here.
Phelps, he'll take it in. And he was pushed going up.
I believe Phelps hit the stanchion a little bit.
Foul called against Reed, and that will be number 5.
He's laying down, and Michael Smith wants to hear none of it. He said, come on, get up. We've got more work to do. 2:41 to go. He double pumped that, and that's what saved him. You can see he really hit his head against that stanchion. Fortunately, it's well padded.
That's the 3rd Georgetown starter to foul out. Reed, Butler, and Harrington.
Well, the clock really becoming an opponent now for John Thompson. 2:41 to go.
It kept the stats guys here at the Madison Square Garden quite busy. The fixture here after 23 years, Bootsy Dunn out with injury today. Actually recuperating, watching this game.
What's it been, 23 years, did you say?
23 years.
Thompson comes back with Churchwell. Phelps will go to the line. He's got 2 shots coming.
That's for Georgetown in there now. Churchwell and Brown, Morgan, Jocks, and Millen. 2 shots for Phelps. One thing John Thompson's learned today with Reed and Harrington both fouling out and during the course of the game in foul trouble, that Yaya Ja has developed as this season's moved on.
Well, we talked about Harrington yesterday having the opportunity in the summer to play against Matambo, Mourning, and Ewing. That won't hurt Daya either to be able to go in there. He's a young man with a lot of potential.
Joey Brown leaning in, banks it home. 7-point lead. 2:30 remaining.
And here's a case you know Georgetown's going to come to get every pass.
Some people jumping in the air, including Jim Burr.
I think he had the best vertical leap of anybody out there. It's about 7 inches he came up off that ground.
More than that.
You'll see it right here. Now, one of the things that Providence will have to do and can afford to do, Jim, is to throw the ball long against that press. Take a chance to just go ahead and get an easy basket because Georgetown's putting 4 men on this half of the court.
Now on Lamont Morgan.
North Carolina jumps in the lead. Kentucky starting to get control. Tremendous day with 3-point shooting yesterday for Rick Pitino's club against Arkansas. New Mexico State.
Neil McCarthy
that all-time
sleeper. Yep. That might be an all-time sleeper. You know, you come out as the last place team of the conference.
Yep. Yesterday, Kentucky, talking about those threes, they were 16 for 36, Jim. And Arkansas was 8 for 28. So you're talking about 24 points difference on 3-point shooting in a game.
How much do you think that loss bothered Nolan Richardson?
Well, I think, you know, you want to be a champ, Jim. This business about not wanting to be the champion of your league. Everybody plays games to be the champion. And, you know, as your career goes by, those are important games. You know, maybe it takes a slight edge off, but I think you're underestimating what guys
Millen with a 3.
Here it is. They got to think long. Just break a guy long. Here it is.
Phelps with Spencer racing after him.
1, 2. And that's 2.
They call it.
Yep, that's the play we were talking about yesterday. It's got to be called. It has got to be called more consistently. And you know what? Phelps knew when he crossed half court that they were chasing him down. Took a lot of guts to go in there the way he did.
First it was Spencer, and then Jocks is the one who really hit him.
He knows they're coming. Here comes Jocks. I'd throw a guy out of the game on that. Forget about just intentional. That was a flagrant foul. Watch how he comes after his head. He's not even after the ball. There's just no place for that in basketball.
So 2 for Phelps. 2 minutes to go. Jocks came over and a nice gesture.
Yeah, well, I don't buy the gesture, Jim. You go ahead and take a guy's head off and then go over and say, hey, you know, I hope you're all right. I mean, the intent for the foul in the first place is what needed a gesture.
Well, the amazing thing is still you see that kind of thing happen and they don't call it a breakaway. All the time.
Oh, good hustle.
Abdullah gets it over to Brown to save it. Georgetown has it. 6 down with 1:50 remaining.
What the Providence players have to understand is Georgetown is now playing kamikaze defense. When they do that, you have got to give the ball to the first open man you see. Don't challenge the defense. There will be somebody open and wide open.
Brown just inside the 3. That's a 2. 4-point game. Look out.
A lot of time yet to play, and definitely don't pick up your jersey. Try to call timeout.
And a timeout called by Providence. Anthony Quinn, that's tonight. Don't forget the 6:30 lead-in of the selection show. Michael Brown fouled on the way up. How about strategy at this point, Billy?
The strategy on the part of Providence is to realize what Georgetown is doing. They're coming after him in a kamikaze fashion right now. I mean, you know, don't worry about if they get an easy basket. Try to overplay everything, double team, dive for balls. So if you're Providence, you got to hit the first free man. There will be somebody open for a wide open shot if they'll give it up. Don't dribble here.
2 shots for Brown.
Williams sitting there realizing there's nothing he can do but pray a little bit now. He's fouled out of the game, as is Harrington and Butler.
Kentucky on a roll now, up 13.
I remember this time last year, Jim, Kentucky got on that tremendous roll in the SEC tournament and then through the regional.
They were smoking people at that point.
Gonna have to help on Brown for that leaner.
Brown. Rebound out to Abdullah. He's got a man ahead.
There it is.
Will they take him out again? Phelps. Slam dunk.
Backcourt was involved.
Shots rejected by Smith. And the reach in by Spencer.
Jim, we had a backcourt call, but what Providence finally did and realized is that Georgetown had everybody packing in, throw the ball ahead, a man will be wide open. And they can sense it now. Under a minute.
I'd heard that the state of Rhode Island is just in a frenzy after that win yesterday against UConn.
But how about today?
Can you imagine?
Can you imagine beating Georgetown twice in a week? Once to almost assure yourself for a bid, and another time to win a Big East championship.
Foul outside. That'll send Joey Brown to the line for 2.
And Jim, we're talking about Providence, which battles with Seton Hall as the poorest records in Big East history. And you've got Georgetown on the other end of the spectrum with the best record in Big East history. And I'm not talking about just the tournament, I'm talking about overall.
Road to the Final Four is coming up next. Pat and the Raft in the studio. We'll be talking to Coach K and others. And then 6:30, the selection show, Billy. We got to head over.
That's your favorite half hour.
I love it. You know how some people get into the NFL draft on that day? This is the same kind of feeling for me, I think. You want to take a subway, or are we cabinet?
Whatever one is convenient to you, fella.
We have a little tradition going here,
That's
Billy.
right. We like that subway. We'll be going uptown, kind of like Providence has.
Traveling. Brown triple teamed, and they said he lifted that pivot foot.
Well, now, though, when you look at the score up there, Jim, Georgetown not only has to hit some threes, but they have to foul immediately because Providence can run out the string here. Jocks is ready for 3.
He's going to take it. Joey Brown
should go out for 3.
Let's take the 2 instead. Tip once. And Michael Smith. Yet another.
When you start talking about an MVP of this tournament, Jim, of the 14 tournaments, Georgetown has had 7 of them. Craig Shelton in 80, Sleepy Floyd in 82, Patrick Ewing a double winner in 84 and 85, Reggie Williams in 87, Charles Smith in 89, and 92 Alonzo Mourning. You'd have to think that when you start thinking about the MVP, that man Michael Smith is going to be close.
Timeout called by Georgetown. 25 seconds to go. Providence by 7. Well, Billy, the Chevrolet players of the game are Joey Brown from Georgetown, 13 points, 7 rebounds, and Michael Smith from Providence, 15 and 16, checking the amount of $1,000 donated to each college's general scholarship fund.
And Jim, you know what else is something we haven't talked about, but when you start talking about what's going through the minds of these senior players and Rick Barnes in the sidelines, is he has not confirmed it, but obviously a great deal of talk about Rick Barnes leaving Providence after this season and going to Clemson. He is from North Carolina originally, went to Lenore Ryan College down there, was an assistant at Davidson College. So a lot would be going through this man's mind right now.
One of the hot young coaches in college basketball. He's been every year there have been people after him.
Right.
Eric Miku.
That's a push.
That'll put Providence back on the line again. They have attempted 47 shots from the field and already 50 free throws.
Well, a couple of more and they'll have 100 free throws attempted this week against Georgetown. That's got to be some kind of record. And you know what's interesting, Jimmy, you were talking about, you know, he's been pursued by a lot of people. The University of Virginia pursued Rick Barnes a few years ago, remember? Jeff Jones got the job. Jeff Jones has proven to be a very successful young coach there. So you've got 2 of the hottest properties in the country. One who didn't take the job to allow another guy to have it and to come through. The smiles are starting. They played a solid tournament. There's no fluke against Connecticut yesterday. They played them well both games this year. Today coming through on a team they'd split with.
Churchwell.
No foul, no foul! Oh!
Back. Phelps was standing out of bounds. 6 seconds to go, and then what a celebration.
They're getting ready.
They've named the all-tournament team. Michael Smith has won the outstanding player. Churchwell's unable to score. Phelps with the rebound. He made all-tournament. And Providence, for the first time in school history, has won the Big East championship.
A scene we'll be seeing all over the country in the weeks to come, Jim.
The all-tournament team, Simpkins and Phelps from Providence, Harrington and Butler from Georgetown, Danielle Marshall of UConn, who had 42 Friday against St. John's. But the outstanding player was Michael Smith of Providence College, the Dave Gavitt Trophy he wins. Well, they've never played in the Big East final until today. They make it to the final and they conquer. So for Billy Packer and Leslie Visser, I'm Jim Nance saying so long from Madison Square Garden, where the final score is Providence 74, Georgetown 64. Billy, we're heading to the selection show. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports. Road to the Final Four coming up. Home of the NCAA Basketball Championship.
Listen, a few moments ago here on CBS, the Big East title was given to Providence, beating Georgetown 74-64. And let's go down to Madison Square Garden again, and Leslie Visser. B?
Pat, it is a happy band of Friars here. Congratulations to all the Friars. And Rick, this meant a tremendous amount to you and your team, didn't it?
Well, it really did, and I'm happy for these guys. The very first practice this year, they emptied a trophy case, and we've had an empty trophy case in Providence, and they said they were going to put something in it, and they did today.
Dickie Simpkins, congratulations to you. Yesterday, Danielle Marshall. Today, OTHELLA Harrington. How did you handle them today?
Well, it wasn't all by myself. The whole team did it, and I thank my team, and I thank everybody. We stuck in there and fought through it. And it was a whole defensive effort. Everybody played hard, and everybody played together.
Did you handle the pressure tremendously, Rob? What was the key today? Rob Phelps, local boy from Brooklyn.
Well, the key was that, like Dickie said, it was a team effort. We went out there and we played hard. After coming in, coach, he went out there, he stuck with us, and he knew that we can do it, and we came out here, we played hard, and we done it.
Well, Michael Smith, the outstanding player. Where's Michael? The outstanding player. Michael, you grew up in Washington. What did it mean to win this game?
You know, I could go home and brag that we beat Georgetown in the Big East championship, and they can't say nothing about that now.
You did beat them. On to the tournament. Congratulations. Back to you, Pat.
All right, Leslie, thank you. And that's what it's all about right there.
Sure is. Oh, they matched him physically. A lot of fouls by Georgetown, 46 attempts. But the sadness in this, that may be the end when you think of it after the tournament for Rick Barnes. I think he's going to Clemson.
Rick Barnes called you this morning and gave him a couple of tips. He wins the Big East title.
Tonight in the Sports Locker, March Madness Mania, a double dose of good news for Brown, and the Baby Bees stop a slide. But the story of the day is the Friars. Sean Daly is standing by live at the Providence College, awaiting the return of PC. They got back a little while ago. Sean, take it away.
Bill. A great day if you're a Providence College basketball fan. Big win over G-Town for the Big East crown. Imagine if you were down there having yourself a heck of a time. Our own Frank Carpano was there and files this report.
The final buzzer signaled the start of PC's proudest moment of the last 4 years. This is the first Friar team to ever win a Big East tournament title.
4 years of hard work just paid off today, and it feels great. I mean, as soon as the game was over, it felt like a dream, but now I know it's true, because you know why? I kissed the trophy.
I'm just happy. 4 years. It took me 4 years to get a Big East championship. And, you know, it's the best. Going out my senior year, and you're just getting it.
The nucleus of this team, all seniors, have saved the best for last after many had written them off.
We went through our downtimes and we went through our ups. But like I said, today it just paid off.
Their NCAA tournament bid secure, the Friars were sequestered away from the media at Madison Square Garden for the tournament selection show.
When we was in a room, everybody was just relaxed, laid back. We just wondering where we were going to be at, and we just, you know, ready to go.
I'm sure they're a very hard-nosed, tough defensive team because that's what Dave's always believed in, and I just know they'll compete because he's that kind of person.
Rick Barnes says that he's going to give his team maybe 24 hours to savor today's big win here in New York. Then it's time to start thinking about the big dance. And it's going to be a bit of a homecoming for Barnes, who will return to his roots in the South to play against a team that he was once an assistant coach for. We'll have more on that coming up tomorrow night at 6. At New York's Madison Square Garden, Frank Carpano, Newswatch 10.
All right, Frank, thank you very much. Some folks thought the Big East title might get PC a higher seed, but it didn't happen. The Friars are bound for Lexington, Kentucky. A guy named Patino is down there, but don't worry, Rick. PC is going to be in that 8-9 game. Should be a very good one there. Bama, well, they're not as good as the athletes as we've seen in the past, but they got bounced from the SEC tournament yesterday by Florida. Here's the Alabama lowdown. The Tide was very tough at home this year, so is everybody else. They do have a few quality wins, though. Don't seem too worried about Providence at this point in time, Big East title or not.
I know Rick Barnes personally. He was here as an assistant the same year I came. And, you know, he's got a good team. He's got a physical team. They've got some good inside players. Michael Smith, I know him in particular. He's a very, very good player.
I mean, I'm not very familiar with Providence's team, but we have some tough teams in that bracket. I mean, we're not going to look over Providence, but I hope, you know, we can get in there and do well.
And hopefully the people will be pulling for an SEC team, you know, being around in Kentucky and stuff, so maybe we can get a little fan support, and it might work out in our favor.
It is a laid-back atmosphere at UMass. Minutemen knew they were, in fact, with yesterday's upsets, there was a chance that they might even be a #1 seed. Okay.
Beat the Friars early on this season, but today, Nebraska
delivers. Providence College up by 8. John Thompson shaking his head a little bit. Rick Barnes, a little nervous chatter. Providence by 4 at the half. They start off with a little defense courtesy of Mr. Smith in the second half. The Friars will now go up 51-38 as Abdullah finds Simpkins. And, of course, here is the exclamation point. Mr. Phelps turning out the lights. And finally, the dance of the celebration. I love that sight. I could watch that 100 more times. Here's our scoreboard. Providence over Georgetown, you see, in the ACC final.
Round, we got one.
Number 8 seed, disappointed in that at all?
Well, as I looked at it, I think probably the difference is as you look above us, there are some teams that had been in the top 20, 25 all year that, you know, they've been there, and I can understand that, but I would have liked to go a little bit higher.
And the 4th New England team headed to the big dance
first. And Providence, for the first time in school history, has won the Big East championship.
That's right. The hometown boys take the Big East by storm, sending them right into the NCAAs. Good evening, I'm Ann Conway. This is 12 on 12. Get ready, Providence College fans. Your hometown team may go all the way, right to the Final Four. The Friars are on their way home now, but earlier tonight they beat Georgetown, putting them for the first time in the NCAA. Channel 12 Sports Director Tony Potts joins us now. Well, this is great, but they still have a long road ahead.
Well, there are 64 teams in counting. Yeah, 64, including teams like Liberty and teams like Purdue. So, you know, as good a chance as any. I think Providence can beat anybody in that field on any given day.
All right.
They beat Connecticut.
Good to hear.
Yeah, all right. Those history-making Friars are back in Providence as we speak, just pulling up a short time ago, and they bring with them a little something this city has never seen, the Big East Tournament's championship trophy, and this is how they win it. With Michael Smith taking the Hoyas to town, Georgetown unable to stop the big fella. The bucket and the foul gives PC an early 8-point lead. Then it's that man Smith again. Oh, yeah, look at the tourney MVP motor down the floor for the deuce and the 15-point Providence lead. Georgetown makes a late run, but it's not enough. And when you see Rob Phelps and the rest of his fantastic Friar teammates, look at them here. Oh, yeah, celebrate. You know that PC wins its first ever Big East Tournament title, the final 74-64.
Our goal right here to win the Big East championship, and we did it. There was a lot of non-believers out there that said we couldn't do it. Now, so for all those non-believers, yo, we did it. Everybody put us down and say we ain't gonna make it, we ain't gonna do nothing, yo. We're going to NIT this year, but we proved everybody wrong this year.
They're going to go down. I know all those banners in the Civic Center there. There's going to be one that's got Big East champions on it. So these guys have put themselves among some of the great teams at Providence.
Now it's on to the big dance, the Super Shindig, if you will. That's where a team's greatness is truly judged. And for Providence, it begins on Thursday against Alabama in Lexington, Kentucky. A win over the Tide, and the Friars will most likely take on the Southeast Regional's #1 seeded Purdue Boilermakers. But first things first, Alabama and Providence this Thursday.